Hello, my name is Faina, and I have dedicated the last 7 years to honing my craft and fine tuning my strategy.
Welcome to Trading in the Zen, where we help traders find their groove. I'm your co-host, Louise Nonwheeler, a trading psychologist and multi-award-winning clinical hypnotherapist. Join us weekly as we delve into the trading world, exploring psychology, well-being, health, and mindset. Through expert insight, interviews, and actionable strategies, we help you as traders unlock the mindset needed to navigate markets with confidence and achieve peak performance.
At Trading in the Zen, we believe that there's much more to trading than numbers and probabilities. Like an athlete, a trader should operate in their peak state. Each week, you will have mind-blowing interviews as well as actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become a better trader. Thanks for spending time with us today. Now, let's dive right in. Today, we are thrilled to welcome Brandon Harris. Brandon is a passionate day trader and mentor behind Chasing Pips FX. With over 6 years of real-world trading experience, Brandon has a track record for helping traders reach consistent profitability. Brandon has built a thriving community where he trades live, breaks down winning strategies, and cuts through the noise. Brandon, welcome to the show. Welcome to Trading in the Zen. Happy 2026. Luis and I are so happy to be back after a little hiatus. We all needed to refocus, rest, recharge. And now we are ready. And what a way to kick off 2026 with our new and really interesting guest, Brandon. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Welcome to the show, Brandon.
Thank you for joining us. So, Brandon, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, where are you going, your dreams, aspirations.
I'm Brandon. As you know, I started trading in COVID. I was a barber I still am a barber, but I've been cutting hair and being a barber, and I own a barber shop. And during COVID, that was kind of like having a barber shop and cutting hair was my main source of income. And then during COVID, it all shut down. We had restrictions. So I didn't know, basically, try to find another source of income. So I had a bunch of time on my hands since my shop has closed, and I was doing house calls here and there, but I had a bunch of time on my hands, and then it made me realize that not every industry is foolproof. So then I started looking into something that I can do, in my spare time, or that doesn't interfere with barbering. So I started learning about trading, and I joined a couple, mentorships and stuff, and it was a rough patch because I think that's where your psychology comes in, because I'm like trying to get money really fast, and it just doesn't work with trading like that, and you have to start resetting and use your mind and not try to gamble or trade with a clear mind. So it took me about 2 years to become profitable, and yeah, I started using prop firms and doing my funded account and stuff like that. And for the past 3 years, I've been profitable. And I guess I would say now trading is my main source of income. Now barbering is just like a side thing that I do now.
So if you were to say, what was the most challenging about learning how to trade? Was it the mastering the psychology of it, or learning having a strategy?
The psychology, because I feel like if you have the right psychology and the right mindset, you could just press a button, and if you have good discipline, you can get out really fast, or you can stay in a trade. Um, learning the strategy and stuff like that, to me, that was it was easier. It was just training your mind, and being disciplined is the hard part, because once you see numbers on the screen and you're making money, it starts becoming easy. You think that you could do the same numbers every day, and that's where the psychology part comes in. That's the hard part for me.
Yeah, I think it is for most traders, Brandon, isn't it? And one of the biggest triggers for traders is losing. Losing is like too many traders say, I cannot accept losses. It's that perceived threat, the fight or flight that comes in. But it sounds like you've really come a long way with your psychology, your mindset, you're consistently profitable. How do you handle losing streaks now? And what advice would you give to somebody who's emotionally attached to every trade?
You have to try to find you have to attach yourself from the money aspect, like looking at the screen and seeing different numbers go up and down, and then just attach yourself to try to making good habits or good trades. So take the numbers off the screen and stop looking off the screen, and then just look, did I follow my plan? Did I close my computer when I was supposed to? Did I walk away? Did I just certain things and triggers that you have to have in place when you're trading, and you have to follow those things to be successful. And if you don't, then you're just gonna, create bad habit after bad habit, and then it comes, and all those things start becoming, the things that you do when you get happy for a win. There's going to be bad habits that you do for a loss, and that's going to be subconscious.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Thank you.
What do you do to reset? Because you know how when we trade, right, losses happen where it happens to all of us. And then you don't want to carry it into the next day, because if we don't come at a neutral, you're already at a disadvantage. How do you reset your psyche after a loss?
That's a hard question, because there's different things I do different days. Sometimes, I'm a sore loser where it ruins the whole day. And then there's sometimes where I'm just kind of like, oh, next day will be better. Then I'll reset, read a book or meditate, play some certain, music in the car, or look at things that remind me that this day was only, temporary, it's not forever, and I've got myself out of these type of holes. So I try to have a positive mindset, and look at, maybe like my I have like a what do you call that, like a whiteboard inside of my trading room, and it shows like all the months that I was profitable, and it shows where a month that, I had a 0 month, and then there's a month where I made $35,000 the next month. So I kind of look at those things and show like, hey, trading is like a roller coaster, and right now I'm just at the dip part, but it's going to go back up.
Yeah.
That's actually a good way of thinking about it, because it feels so finite. And I think that we get so stuck on that one thing, and that one bad day will usually cause people to lose everything. And, especially if you're trading props, is go back to ground zero and start over. And I think we forget that the trading essentially is capital preservation. And if you don't have any capital, you're no longer a trader. And so I think those things are good too. So one bad day should not erase all of your hard work. And I'm a trader as well. So there are days where I literally have to leave the room, take a breath, and come back in, because that tunnel vision, and you can't get out of that space. And it's also, I think, knowing thyself and knowing when you are no longer capable of controlling your emotions, and like self discovery is important. What do you do to prepare for like a day in the morning? Do you just like roll out of bed and PJs and run to your screen, or?
There's different things. So like, so if I'm coming off a bad day, so like the next morning, I would probably, use one of, the meditations, that you guys have. I use one of those in the morning. I'm not sure. I kind of switch it up different ones. So I'll use that in the morning and try to clear my mind before I hit on the chart, so I'm not thinking about the day before. But if I'm in a win streak, I kind of try to keep the same habit that I did the next day, kind of like a good luck type of a thing. So I try to, I'm a creature of habit. So once that habit gets broken, then I'll switch it up. It's a bad day, I'll use some meditation to get my mind right. Good day, I'll do the same thing I did yesterday. So usually I just get up, brush my teeth or read a book for like 5 or 10 minutes. Try not to be on my phone too much, because sometimes when you're on your phone and you're like, Instagram or something, you see, oh, this trader made money, and then this trader made money, and then subconsciously you're thinking in your head like, I got to make a winning day. So I try to stay off of that, because the noise is always around, and some stuff is real and some stuff is fake that you see. So I try to focus on my own journey and not anybody else's. But yeah, I'm a creature of habit. I pretty much do the same thing. Wake up, analyze the charts. I wake up at the same time pretty much every single morning, and I jump on the charts and I analyze for like 5 minutes before I go live with my members. And then that's it. And then usually I'm done maybe an hour or sometimes less, and I'm off the charts. But when I have my bad days, those are on when I'm on the charts for like 2 hours or something, because I'm chasing trades, or I didn't follow my rules, or I couldn't handle a loss that day.
I've got a question actually talking about that, because I always ask traders when they go like what we call on till, or they're going into revenge trading, over trading, are you doing it consciously or are you doing it subconsciously? Because what we do all day, every day is 95% subconscious. And I think self-awareness is one of the most important things for traders. But for you, when you have those kind of bad days, like Trump's done a tweet or there's been an announcement and the markets are just not playing out and you're feeling stressed, if you do have times where you're kind of going a little bit on till, are you self-aware in that moment of what you're doing? And if you are, what kind of tools, what techniques do you do to get yourself out of that?
That's a good question, because to me, I have different categories for tilts, because it'll be different things. Just like you said, if Trump tweeted, and then it ruined something or it's out of my control, then I have a tilt where I just needed like $150, dollars more to get a payout, and I was chasing it, and I could have just been happy with whatever I was doing, and I just let it go down thousands of dollars, being stupid and being greedy. Just I don't know if it's an OCD thing, but sometimes I like to have even numbers. So when I'm trading, like I have to have an even number on the screen where it has to be like 10,000 or whatever it is. Like, and if it's not an even number, I will try to trace to try to get over that even number, even if it's like $5 or something. And sometimes if I do it, and then sometimes if I do a tilt where I'm going down and something like that, I get really angry at myself, because it was just me being greedy and stupid, because my OCD wanted me to have that certain number for that day. So I think I have three different categories for tilts, and like the worst one is where I reset. I get off the computer, and that's where I do a lot more meditations to like to make it a bad day, put a scab over so I can get stop the bleeding, basically. And that's the thing on the tilt. The tilt is you need to stop the bleeding, because you're going to keep going and going and going, and that's where revenge trading keeps happening.
Oh, massively. Yeah, you can dig deeper and deeper and deeper and trying to get yourself out, because the biggest thing is I need to fix this. I can't end the day on a red day, not for you, but just like traders in general. And it's not really, most of the time, it's not even about the P&L. It's about not wanting to feel those emotions and feelings connected with the loss, feeling like a failure, all of those things. I think one of the most important things in trading is trading identity and your trading edge. Traders can come in and go, oh yeah, I just trade. But I think it's important to create a trading identity, who you are. I mean, for you, talking about identity, do you feel since COVID, since you've become a successful, consistent trader, that you've created an edge in your own identity?
Yeah, I believe, and that was a hard part before, because I was always known as a barber. And when I was unprofitable, I wanted to be a trader for so long. I couldn't call myself a trader unless I was profitable. So now I didn't want to, you don't want to tell people like, hey, I trade, or I didn't want to do those things, because when they're gonna say, oh, have you made money? And I tell them no, they're like, that you're not really a trader, so, and it took a while for me to change, and be comfortable with that identity, and realize that, hey, every trader loses. But now that I'm profitable, like my whole identity now is a trader. So then like when I'm losing, I guess it kind of it hurts your ego when you lose.
Yeah, but you have an additional pressure as well, because you are trading in front of people in your Discord channel. That is, a kind of additional pressure. I can't even trade when people are sitting in the same room with me. I've tried, because it's distracting. It's like, I don't know. It's just additional pressure. How do you deal with trading in front of people and then taking a loss in front of people who are trying to follow you as a mentor?
That's really the hard part for the first, I guess, 4 months or 3 months or so, when I was trading in front of people, I guess you could say. There was always that pressure to because they're paying you money or monthly, or they're in here and they have confidence in you. And then when you have that losing trade, you're like, I lost money, and then they lost money. So it's like it's a hard feeling, and there's a lot of pressure too, because like when they're on there and you're saying, hey, I'm gonna go on here this time, a day, and then you don't perform, it's a pressure for you to call it a winning trade, or some days you're like, I don't want to trade, but a guy in there is like, I need a signal, or I need this, and you feel the pressure to force something and do your rules. So to me, it's always an ongoing battle going in my head of following my rules or giving them what they want, so it's like a tug of war doing that.
But also people, I think the whole point of those rooms, which I think people are misusing them. The point is to learn how to fish, not to have people fish for you, right? And so I know people go in there with like unreasonable expectations because we're all human. We all have bad days. It's good for them to see that you're able to have a bad day and then recover from it and not let, the tide take you. But I think a lot of people just want an easy, I've been trading for almost now 11 years, right? So 11 years of absolutely hard work, 5 days a week. I think I can count on two hands the days that I missed not being in front of the charts. And if I'm not trading, I'm analyzing, I'm thinking about it. And I think that people want a shortcut, right? And then they take personal responsibility out of it. And they're like, well, you didn't do the right thing. You didn't give me the trade. And I think it's our industry has become gamified, which is a big problem because people are putting a lot of personal money on the line. What are your feelings about how this industry has been turned into like a video game, and not enough people are talking about the dangers and the risks, but everyone's posting their rewards?
And I think that's that I think the industry has it has become really dangerous because of everyone posting, hey, this you can make this or you can make that, but they don't post like the dark moments where, there's been times where I've been in debt, or there's been times where I've had my last $200 and I bought a prop firm challenge, and there's times where, I made, a lot of money, and there's months where I made zero money. Like, I think people and that's why I kind of brought up my whole thing with, going on the phone in the morning and looking, because at my trading Instagram, I follow a bunch of traders. You start seeing all those things, and then you have to separate what's real and what's not reality. And reality is, like I said, trading is a roller coaster. You're not going to have all these green days, and a lot of people post a lot of stuff on there, and they make people believe that trading is just like this one thing where you jump in and we're just going to make tons of money, and it's so easy, but it's hard. Trading is easy, but it's learning trading is easy, but the discipline and the psychology to me is the hardest part. I don't care what anybody says about anything. Even when you go to a casino, like you hit on, say you put $100 in there, you hit $1,100, right? So do you really have discipline to say I'm done for the day, or you're going to say, well, I made so much money and keep putting it back in? And that's kind of like trading with that. But trading is like, you're not gambling, you're using your edge. So I think a lot of people stop using their edge and then start trying to gamble because they want to be like these other people and have these unrealistic expectations of that you're just going to just jump into the market to make money every day, because there's a lot of I wouldn't even call them traders, marketers in the game, and they make you believe that and live in this fantasy world and try to reach some. I wouldn't say they're not attainable, but the average person can't reach some of these heights that they're promoting, and they sell it. And I get it, because everybody does it. You want to market yourself, but I think it's up to the person to do the research and realize that like trading isn't what people make it out to be. It's really hard. It's a hard industry. Yes, you can make a lot of money, but there's a lot of work putting into going to that money. Like, you've been trading for 11 years, and I know that there wasn't times where, you made a bunch of money. There was times where you struggled and you had dark moments and you wanted to quit and you wanted to give up. But a lot of people don't want to talk about that, because if you tell them it's going to be super hard, they're not going to want to get into, and that's not a good marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also like, we owe people, I feel like people who have lasted, we owe honesty, and for people to manage expectations and to say, listen, this is going to be a hard journey, I can also stand in front of the rented Ferrari and take a picture.
Yeah.
That does not mean that I drive one. I don't drive one. I don't. I live a normal, humble life. Just to be clear, So I think, there's this a very poignant thing you said. There are marketers and there are traders, and I don't think real traders do the kind of stuff that the marketers do because we don't have the time for it, right?
No.
Because I'm here to live my life. I'm not going to spend my day walking around West Palm taking pictures in front of mansions and car dealerships. Like that is
Yeah.
not good use of my time. I'm an influencer then. I'm not a professional.
Yeah. Brandon, I want to talk about systems. Obviously, as you know, I'm a trading psychologist, and I believe, this is my belief, the two most important systems in trading, of course, you need a good strategy, you need good risk management, but the two most important systems that every trader should understand, learn, and master is the belief system and the nervous system. So, I mean, what do you think, talking about systems, what do you think makes a successful trader? Like, what does it look like? What are the attributes, the personality?
I think this is a deep question because this is what I tell everybody. Like, to be a trader, you don't just go in there and say, I'm going to be a scalper. I'm going to be a swing trader. I'm going to be a day trader. So you have to kind of find, I guess, your inner self, or maybe heal or know your inner child and stuff like that, things like that. Because like for me, I've always been impatient, right? So I know that I'm impatient. I can never be a swing trader. Why would I try to do something if that's not even in my personality? Like, I'm going to be looking at the charts. My nervous system going to be going crazy because I'm going to be in a trade and I'm going to want to make money fast. So why would I even do that? So I tell people, if you're an impatient person, be a scalper. If you're really patient, you're calm, and you don't want to be on the charts, 5 minutes or so, be a swing trader, like, or if you're in between, be a day trader. You have to know yourself before you jump into the trading and actually want to trade a certain style. And also for risk, like, I'm okay with my heart pumping really fast in like 4 or 5 minutes and stuff like that. So I use a lot of risk. So some people that are not okay with, their heart racing or doing stuff like that, they might want to lower their risk because they don't have an appetite for risk. So they want to, use a smaller lot size or contract size. So I think you have to know yourself before you getting into trading or getting really serious. You can't just jump and say like this guy says what works. You have to find out what works for you.
Yeah, wise words.
I agree with you because I also am impatient and I have ADHD. So for me, swing trading is really hard. I'm in a trade maybe 5 minutes. If I'm going to trade for 10, like I'm sitting here on the edge of my seat. I'm also more of a scalper because I can take the intensity. My brain cannot sit there and watch it, right? It like shuts down my nervous system. It's too much. It's an overload, and I've tried, and it becomes torturous, right? So that is a really important point. Like, you need to know how much pressure you can tolerate and how much risk you can tolerate, which is also pressure. I think it comes down to pressure. Can you withstand immense, intense pressure for a short period of time? Or do you like to like stretch it out and you're able to remain calm? I can't. So what happens for me, I'll jump out of a trade. I will move my stop. It's just dysregulates my nervous system, which is, Luis, what you were saying. And, my nervous system has to be a big consideration in picking the style of trading I will do. But is there a book that you've read that like gave you an aha moment in trading, Brandon?
The best loser wins.
Yeah, I read that same book.
And I think what's the other one? I think one good trade. And that one kind of focuses on there's a lot of, it's hard with trading books because or books in general for me. Like, I kind of get bored because I think some people put, they try to make money, so they put a lot of fillers in there instead of then they try to stretch out the good stuff. There's a book called One Good Trade, and it's like after a loss, you don't focus on making your money back. You focus on trying to make one more good trade. Like that's all you're supposed to do is just one more good trade. So
Huh.
it's just trying to show you quality over quantity, and just you focus on making one good trade. And that's why I talked about like not looking at the numbers sometimes, and you focus on that one good trade, and then everything else will start falling into place.
Yeah.
But I think the best loser wins was the best one for me, because it was it focused on you can't now I learned that you can't, if you go on, if you're a sore loser, you're not going to be good at trading, because that tells you, you know, like you always have to make, you know, you always have to come back, or you have to try to, you know, revenge trade, that because that's something in your personality. You can never accept the loss. You can't be like, okay, I'm done and I'll try the next day. Or if you get in a fight with somebody, you're going to keep trying and trying and trying. Like that's in your DNA, and that's in your personality. So I feel like you don't have an appetite for taking losses, so you're always going to want to revenge trade or get your lick back, or you know, whatever you want to call it. And I think the best loser wins was the best book for me to kind of cut those things out, and it just showed you like, hey, you're going to lose in trading all the time, you know, but how you lose is the biggest thing, you know. You're gonna let your trade bleed, or you're gonna cut it, you're lose your short and say, hey, I lost it, and then try again, or you're just going to just sit at the chart and just let it keep going down, or keep trying again and just forcing things. So I always
Yeah.
recommend that book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I now try to like reward myself for losing. So if I have 5 good losses based on my system, right? Because it just didn't play out, but I followed every single rule and the market just didn't give me what I wanted. So when I have 5 of those good losses, I go buy myself something nice, because that is also discipline in trading. And so once I start to reward myself for like good losses, because there's a difference. There's a good loss where you did everything possible, it just didn't go your way. And there's where, you know, you FOFO'd. And when you FOFO, that is not a good loss. You gonna find out, you know. So did I FOFO, or did I F around and find out? And I also tell myself, don't be for a tick. Like I sit here and I'm like, don't do that, because you try to make that last 2 ticks and it turns completely around. And I remind myself not to be a D for a T. So these are the things, like what kind of loss was it? It matters. It really matters. And then if it's 5 good losses, Faina goes and gets herself something nice. And I think that will retrain your brain to make losses feel like it's the end of the world, and get you out of trying to make up for things. But this is like 10 years of straight up like doing crazy stuff. So
I have something different. I have I do an accountability worksheet. So I have like some of my students who are struggling with, you know, trading and psychology. So I have them fill out an accountability worksheet. So it's going to have like all the stuff with your plan or whatever. It's pretty simple, but you have to figure out something that you hate doing. For me, I hate doing push-ups and I hate eating healthy. So if I don't follow my rules or don't follow my plan, I have to do 20 push-ups and I can't eat fast food or anything that day. Like I have to eat super clean, and that's like my punishment. So I tell the traders to figure out something that they don't like to do. And when they don't follow their rules, and when they, you know, take those bad losses or whatever, they have to do whatever's on that accountability sheet.
That sounds good. I think everyone's got to do what is good for them. One of the things that I used to recommend to clients, and it really works, is like immediately after a loss, it's going to cause that perceived threat, that fight or flight to come in, and you cannot think yourself out. No affirmation is going to get you out of that physical state. So I used to say to some of my clients, go and do 50 star jumps, you know, like jumping jacks, in another room, take yourself away, close out the trade, do what you need to, go in the other room, do jumping jacks, get it out the body, and then come back, because you would have reset. It is unbelievable how many of my clients gone, actually, I don't go on tilt anymore, because they've got all that kind of adrenaline out of the body, the cortisol. So I think whatever works, isn't it, Faina? Really?
yes, for me is that I try to positively reinforce my brain, because if I focus on things I hate, I will continue doing it. I will focus on not doing the things I hate, you know. And so and then I inevitably do the things I hate, because that's all I can think about, you know. So I'm trying to rewire my brain where I make everything mean everything because I'm like, I like to be catastrophic about things. And so I try to get that out of, but it's once again to knowing yourself. I know that I make things catastrophic when they really aren't catastrophic. Like if I would have given it like 5 minutes and breathe, they would not have been catastrophic. So that's why I try to positively reinforce my brain and saying, hey, we did great today. That was a good loss. That was a good loss. And I don't think people think enough of good losses because this is what we do. Like you win 40% of the, you win 50% of the time, you doing okay. You win 60% of the time, you doing great. As long as you take those good losses, right? So I think people are thinking that you win all the time. You don't. If your wins make sense, do like 3-to-1 ratio to your losses, then you're going to be still in profit. I think people don't do their math correctly, and that is where things just go off tilt.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm. Brandon, tell us about Chasing Pips FX. Like I've seen your, it's your website, it's your company, isn't it? I had a look at your website. It's a really clean website. I like it.
Yeah, Tasting FX is like my name. It came from like when I started trading, I was always trying to chase trades. So like that became my identity. So it kind of reminds me not to chase trades because that's kind of like a bad side of trading, always chasing. And then my website, I have it, chasingpipfx.com. That just can basically has like my bio and stuff like that. A couple of YouTube interviews that I've done and a little bit about myself, and then it has the links from my Discord. And then my Discord, I trade live with my members 5 days a week, and then I do like a one-on-one mentorship. I don't get as many as those because it makes it hard for teaching with people because there's so many free information out there, like YouTube or I don't know, you could just look up baby pips or any type of free education that you have on there. But like I always tell people there when they say like, oh, why do you charge for teaching, or why do you charge for this? And it's like, I spent so much money on blown accounts on education for myself. It's like, why would I go and then give give all the shortcuts to you for free when I struggled and did it so much? So I'm going to give you all the tips to bend the learning curve and all the do's and don'ts that I went through for free. It just doesn't make sense. So like, it's my time is money, just like when you're trading, your time is money. I'm not going to get my time out for free when I've struggled and done it. Just like a degree, like I make a certain amount of money now, but it took me so long to do that. You go to college or you go to the medical field, you spend all this money on tuition for it to finally pay off. Like you're not going to go to your one of your friends and then teach them how to be a nurse. So it makes no sense.
Yeah, I was going to say trading, I think one of the few industries where people feel like they're entitled to free information. Like you're not going to go to your doctor and say, why don't you examine me? Fix this tooth for free. Just fix it. You know how to do it. Fix it. I think that people don't have enough respect for those who are still in the game and what it took to remain in that game, and all the investments and all the prop firm challenges and education, psychology, everything that we do. And I think there's like a lack of respect, and people feel entitled to, like, it's also time. Alternatively, I can just trade and not do anything. I still make money, right? Like I am sharing my knowledge with you. What would motivate me to sit here and give that out? I think it's just a little bit of lack of respect for what we do. And it always jerks my chain when people ask me, just show me this real quick. I'm like, real quick? Real quick. Go to the doctor, ask him to fix your eye real quick. Why don't you go ask him to do that? So yeah.
I think you earned your way, you paved your way. Just like not even courses. It's like when I bought the hypnosis for traders, that's an investment that I invested in myself to get my mind right. So it's like not even courses. There's a bunch of things that you've done on trying to build yourself up to be this trader, and you don't want to just give everybody out. And you can give stuff out for free, but it just makes no sense when, say, you make a bunch of money for trading, right? It's like right now, like I cut back on cutting hair because I don't have to sit 8 hours a day anymore because I can make more money trading. So why would I go and teach somebody an hour if I make money trading, why am I do that for free? It's kind of backwards to me on that point. The whole time for a lot of traders, and I don't know if this is like your goal, I feel like trading, since it's, you're only on the charts for a certain amount of time, you can make good money in a short amount of time. That buys you time, and time is freedom. So, that's really
Yeah,
important.
the whole point would do that is to have freedom. Why would
Exactly.
I then go in and put myself in a situation where now I have my time taken away, but differently? It's still my time, no matter how it's taken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, so
precious. It's precious, isn't it? Yeah. What do you think about, before we come to the end of the show, I don't ask everybody this, but what are your thoughts about live trading versus prop firms?
Uh, I feel prop firms, or because I didn't, when I first started, there weren't prop firms. If there were, there was only one or two. I think Top Step, I think was the only one. That I think later on
Apex.
FTMO, Apex, I think those two were the only ones. I don't know, like 6 years ago, from 2019. Those are the only ones that were out there. So a lot of people weren't using them. And then it was really hard, because you had to put your own money in there, and then you're learning. And that's why I said, it kind of goes to my point of not giving people stuff for free, because I've loaned thousands of dollars putting my own money in there, trying to, flip up the $100 to $1,000. And it was really, really hard. And now prop firms have came, and, I wouldn't say that people have it easier, but yeah, I guess it is easier, because, now you could put a little bit of money, and if you learn trading really good, you can make money from there without putting up, risking a lot of your capital. Um, so I believe prop firms are good, but I always tell people, like, don't rely on them for your end game. Like, your end game should always be your personal account.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
they do have really tight rules, and people forget that they're designed like for you to lose. They're not designed for you to make money. They don't make money on when you make money. They make money on when thousands and thousands are trying and paying those fees. They are designed to take your money. So just to keep that in perspective, they're not the good guy coming to save the day. They're not altruistic in any way, and they're not rooting for you. So let's just be clear on that. And once people realize that this is not your neighborhood friend, um, then realize like that is a business model, and it's based on people failing.
One thing that I tell people about how to treat prop firms, psychology wise, is use it as a risk to reward. So you're eventually gonna blow your account. I don't care who you are. Like, chances are you're gonna blow your account. But say you put in $300 for your prop firm, and you made $3,000. To me, that's a 1 to 10 ratio. If you blow your account after that, hey, you made your money, and then you keep going. You have to think of it like that. When people, like, after you blow your account, like, because the prop firm, like you said, the rules are made for you to lose. After, sometimes you feel like a loser when you blow your account. So you have to kind of remind yourself and say, hey, like, I made this much, or I might have blown 3 accounts, but I made money from this one account, and, treat it that way, psychology wise, as a positive, because there's so many negatives. And I've been in that situation when blowing account after account. Now I don't even care really when I blow account. I just blow it, and I try again and keep going. And then I'll get a payout, 2 or 3 payouts here. Then it blows the account. Then I know I can get it back again, because the rules are tight and they're made for you to fail. But as long as you try to squeeze it for as much as you can, and you made some money, then at the end of the day, you're good.
That is a really good shift in psychology, because people feel like, I will never know. They're going to run another special. You're going to get another account for $30. You're going to be okay. It's not a big deal. They are designed for you to fail. They don't allow a lot of bad days, right?
No.
They, like, you have 2 bad days on because what the people do, they'll trade micros, which is great for your personal account. It's not good for props necessarily, because by the time you spend amount of time trying to get that, let's say 3,000 to get the account, and then you go baby step, another 3,000 to be able to take a payout. There's so much time, and then just to blow the account at the end anyway, that people have to, like, it's kind of, you run and burn, and it's fine, and it's okay, keep going. You're gonna be okay. Unless it's your personal account, then you worry about it. But I think people just, that ship, they're like, oh no, I lost, that's it, it's the end. No, it's $30 away, you're fine. Take the $30, reinvest, get back on there. And that,
Yeah.
and that is that catastrophic thinking. I used to make it a catastrophe. And I'm like, you got it for $16. Like,
Yeah.
relax. You're gonna be okay.
And
Yeah.
always read the terms and conditions to every trader out there, please. I've heard some stories over the years. So anyway, we're coming to the end of the show, Brandon. We would love to have you on again. You've been an amazing guest, and we'll share your links, your social media handles. Is there one piece of advice that you would like to share with the listeners?
One piece of advice would be invest into yourself with trading. So whatever it has to be, whether anything to get your mind right, whether it's going to the gym, hypnosis, doing things you like. Don't always just focus on trading. So because when your mind is just on that one thing, you become obsessed. And then when you take these big losses or whatever, like you said, with the whole identity, it kills your whole ego and your identity. So trading is just your end goal, and you want to be a profitable trader, but don't rely on it and think that you're a failure if you don't make it in a certain amount of time. Have some other things and other goals that you want to do. Trading is just an avenue or another thing for you to make money and for freedom. It's not your end. It shouldn't be always your end goal.
That's really good advice. And thank you
Yeah,
for being so
excellent.
open and candid and honest about your journey, and not coming here and telling us that you never have bad days. And then here you are. Every day is a good day for you, and you just keep collecting those checks. Thank you for not doing that, because
But today
if
I had a bad day. Today I had a
La-
bad day. So
last
fine.
week, I literally felt like it was the first time I saw the charts. Sometimes it'd be like that, but you know what? You just decompress, reassess, analyze what went wrong, and get back to it. It happens to all of us, and those who say it doesn't, I wouldn't necessarily follow them. But thank you so much for your time. And to everyone out there, stay safe, trade well, and we'll see you soon.
See you next time.
Bye.